Welcome to Spring LIB.
Okay, so this is problem 72 gives us this same hypothetical research situation as from previously, and this is where we are in a marsh of some sort, and the silt at the bottom, sort of debris collects in layers that are readable the same way tree rings are readable, and we get that for the past 25 years, there's been a pollutant in the marsh, right? So there's a pollutant here. And before that, it was clean water, no pollutant. And someone has come along and grabbed some endospores from the 20-year layer and from the 100-year layer. And we've gone and put them in some flasks, right? Okay, and so in flask A, we put the 20-year-old endospores, and in flask B, we put the 100-year-old endospores. We also added this same pollutant that's in the marsh into the mix here, right? So there's also pollutant with these endospores. Okay, so that's the setup, and now the question is, so as these grow, grow over time, and we would expect at first, since the 20-year-old in flask A is accustomed to being around the pollutant, that it would initially grow much faster, right? So initially it's going to grow faster. But this is saying, well, we keep adding medium and pollutant. So we're just sort of, whatever liquid is in here, we're sort of like replenishing that growth medium and the pollutant to make sure that those are both prevalent and haven't been used up, right? Or metabolized. So there's always pollutant and there's always nutrient available. And over time, so maybe at first there's a big difference, and then the second time around, there's a little bit less of a difference, and then the third time around, they're starting to look about the same for growth, right? And so the question is, why would that happen? Well, so the thing with some of these single cell organisms is that they have a high mutation rate and a high turnaround for creating the next generation. So they reproduce at a high rate and they mutate at a high rate. And this opens the door for this 100-year-old endospore, right, to mutate or evolve in the same way that it sort of did over time in the past 25 years and become accustomed to this pollutant. And once it does that, once it has evolved to be used to being around this pollutant, well, then it's going to start to look a lot like the endospores from 20 years ago, which had to do the same thing. Okay, so it's sort of a mini experiment of what happened in the marsh then over the course of the last 25 years. So we can see then, looking at our choices, that since the endospores from 100 years ago in B could evolve resistance, that eventually the difference in the population size of each flask would lessen. So the choice we're looking for is A.